I'm Elesha Coffman. I'm a professor of history at Baylor University in Waco, Texas, and I am here to use the Religion News Service collection. I first came here for one day in the spring of 2012. I was then working on my first book, A History of the Magazine, The Christian Century, and I wanted one picture of the founding convocation of the National Council of Churches from 1950, and I'd seen it published elsewhere with the credit line Religion News Service collection, PHS. And I thought, I'll just go down. I was in Princeton that year. I'll just pop down for the day. I'll find this photo. And it took a really long time to find the photo because the collection was mostly unprocessed. I ended up looking at the original ledgers, trying to keep track of the photos to figure out where this one photo was, and finding all kinds of things that I wasn't looking for, including portraits of all the editors of the Christian Century. And so then I wanted my next book project to be a history of religion news service, but it was just such a big task, such a big collection that I couldn't. So I've been working on other stuff in the intervening years, and I finally now have time to spend some time last summer, sometime this summer. There'll be even more time really using that one massive collection. For my own work on this trip, I've been focusing on a couple different things. The early history of Religion News Service. It's celebrating its 90th anniversary this fall, and I'll be speaking on the history of the organization there. I'm also working on an article about celebrations of Christmas in the 1950s, and looking at some things that will be helpful for the photo exhibit that's focused on 1960s and civil rights. One of the most fun discoveries, and this was something that my daughter found in the subject files, there was a subject filed on Religious News Service itself, which I didn't think there were any records here related to the organization. It was just about what the organization was reporting on, other than one little, somebody wrote a history of it in the 1990s, and his research files are here, but otherwise almost nothing on RNS itself. But there were subject files, at least two that we found. And the early one had this little 10th anniversary booklet for RNS that has this great picture on the front of what I assume was one of the machines they used for sending information. It wasn't anything that I'd ever seen before. And a photo spread in the middle of who the staff were in the early 1940s. It's difficult to get anywhere from Waco, Texas. With the research fellowship, I was able to spend 2 weeks here this summer. And I've also brought a research assistant, my daughter. She's helping to create an inventory of the subject files within this collection. There are 4 different large sections within the collection. This is one of the largest, and nobody knows what's in there. So I have needed this inventory since I started working on the collection, and this should really help a lot of other researchers know what's here and be able to be convinced to come. PHS is a great archive. I love working here. I love the space. I love the collection, obviously, the staff, and I really do hope that as I'm able to publish some work and give some talks about this RNS stuff, as well as the folder level inventory of some of the subject files, I really think that this is going to be a resource to a lot of historians, because everything's in there. Everything from abortion to Zionism, and over decades, really critical decades of US history. I really think once people know what's in there, they're going to be showing up here too.